So I did that. They sat down. They didn't really interact with me much. They just sort of were chatting with each other. But when they got up to leave, I said, I'm working on this art project, and here's a free pass because you were just, really gracious to me. But what it did was it prompted this whole other conversation with them. So they started talking about how I should quit smoking, which was great. Like, this thing didn't exist before. So then they start talking about quitting smoking, and then when they start to leave again, she gives it back to me. She's like, you might need this. And then briefly there was one here, like just as examples. It was at 7 Stars, and I left a cookie out to protect my table in the newspaper while I went in to get the coffee. And I came out, and there was a mom with her teenager, and they were sitting at the table, and they were a little ambivalent, like, we think somebody's sitting here, but we're not sure. So I walked up to them and said, I'm sitting here, but no problem at all. And one thing you'll find as you get involved in the Free Pass Project, because you really should, is it kind of shifts you a lot. So even like my sense of being civil and just being with strangers was somehow a little different. So we chatted for a little while, and then they got up to go, and I was like, here's a free pass, because we just had that awkward moment about the table. And then we got into a conversation. So, it turns out she's a high school math teacher, and she's like, I so need this. So part of the project is just that acknowledgement, like you can be in the instant with somebody, and you sort of find a way to connect and share a story. Or you could just acknowledge like something you might see somebody else do. So that's the idea. It's called Social Practice Art. There's some really lovely, I'll just give you 2 quick examples. So did anybody see the Before I Die wall when it was in Portland?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So the Before I Die wall is a social practice piece in that it's like a public art experience that's sort of prompting you to express maybe a personal thing publicly, but some people have used silly things here. So there's just a prompt before I die, and some people will be like, I want to make up with all the people in my family. Some people will be like, I want to invent the first pepper-flavored popsicle. And then this other one that I really liked was in New Orleans, and this was, somebody just made the word love and hammered them to telephone poles and trees around the city, but in these areas that were like high crime intersections. And so their creative thought was just like, will this change and this prompt like bring crime down on this corner? So social practice art is really about here's the idea, go do it, practice socially. So anyway, and I also want to say thank you for having me in your house. And the project part of the Free Pass Project really is about collaboration. So I'm really so thankful to have this piece.